Hello and welcome back. We are back to our top 10 things that producers and realtors out of 230,000 coaching sessions have struggled with, and we are on to number 4.
Numero quattro.
Back to our Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
So number 4 this time was talking about how to have those repeatable and optimized systems that continue to give their clients 5-star service as they scale, as they get more transactions going. How do they continue to keep that 5-star service with all of their clients when they have 10, 12 different escrows going at one time?
Yeah, I mean, what I heard when Tom was talking about it was operationalizing wow service. Like, how do you systematize wow service? And I think it starts with a plan. Like, it's not willy-nilly. It's not sometimes. It's at every time we do it, it's the same.
Same exact way.
Exactly. So you ensure that nothing falls through the cracks, because nothing kills 5-star service like stuff falling through the cracks,
exactly.
Right? Or sometimes it's great and sometimes it's not. And people, it's a moving target. You have to know what to expect every time.
Well, and that's why it's really important to have those standard operating procedures for every single time. So what is your process like for your pre-buyer, pre-listing appointment? What's your process like for your at the appointment? Have the same standard checklist every single time you're at those appointments. What's your procedure like when you're in a transaction? Do you give them a run through of what to expect? Do you have a video library of, hey, this is what to expect throughout the transaction? Do you have a constant communication procedure of how are you checking in? We've talked about the Don't Fire Me report, where you have a standard operating procedure. Every single week, you go over what was going through, how many open houses, how many caravans, how many ads did you run, how many buyer's agents did you call for the listing? We having those kind of reports where every single time it's the same way.
Well, and look, we are salespeople. We have a sales team. We go through this. We've been through this. And it's like prospecting, right? Sometimes you're on fire and you're just like breezing through the calls or the door knocking or the visits with clients. And some days, not so much, right? So when I have sporadic effort, what do my results look like?
Sporadic. Yeah.
So it stands to reason that if I have systematic approach to my lead generation, what's my results going to look like?
Same.
Consistent, right?
Systematic every time.
That carries over into the experience, the user experience from A to Z, from contract to close. Do we have a plan?
Yeah.
Do we do the same things the same way every time? Because then it takes chance out of it. It takes feel like it out of it. It takes mood out of it.
It takes the, I forgot out of it. Like, because, you don't drop the ball like we talked about.
Like, I think about, and look, we don't have it right. We are learning. We are very much on the path.
We're building our systems out right now better. We're trying to improve those.
And so by no ways is a statement of like, we figured this out. It's more like, hey, we're figuring it out right along with you. But I know that we show up to every meeting with the same agenda, with the same talking points, after we ask questions and see what their need might be and what category that fits into most. We usually slant it towards that, but we have a plan going into every meeting. And what we're building on the operations side, operationalizing a user experience that can be consistent, is things like automatic drips, things like automatic communication, to where the technology and the robots are helping us to be consistent in our communication. So I think of like a pipeline review Monday for an agent. Like, you could use it as an opportunity to go through every buyer, every seller, every maybe seller, and then every listing and every escrow, and just update every client. If you did that every Monday, like, no, they wouldn't have the chance to be like, I don't know what's going on. No. Where have you been?
Right. And then they go to expect that update every single Monday. And then at the end of the transaction, and we've worked with clients where we have a checklist, we have a procedure where they go into follow-up boss, having that, where they're like, you were in constant communication the entire time. If I needed something, you guys were on it. So that is how, when your clients get done with your experience working with you, they're like, wow, they felt really that experience of being cared for, being listened to, because of that constant communication, where it was all operational, where it really, yes, we care, but it makes that, like you said, takes the feelings out of it when we forget, or when we're sick, or when we don't feel like it.
Or we have back-to-backs or 6 events in a week, and we're just out to lunch on actually being able to call and talk about every prelim, talk about every new opening. we always call we don't do anything every time, but we do most of the time call
98% of the time, I'd say.
Yeah, and the fact is, nobody's perfect. We're all suffering from the human condition, which means failure is woven into that. However, when you have a mark that you're aiming for,
your standard. Yeah.
Aim high, fail high, as Katie would say, right? So we have ideals. And when you have a system for like a Monday pipeline call, and then doing your outreach and fitting it in, and then every inspection looks the same. Every EMD looks the same.
Every post-closing report, every single thing.
And can I tell you, because I know when we're meeting a newer agent, we have a plan. When we're meeting a team lead that does as higher in volume, they have different needs. We have a plan. And it just takes the brain out of it, where Haley and I don't have to come up with this new genius approach where we have to wow them. We've got a system.
Yeah.
We got a system for that. And I get to show up, plug into the system, and watch it work. And thank God, because I'm too tired to have to reinvent every single meeting.
I think the system is really good too, because we're very rarely blindsided. We're very rarely blindsided with a problem or a challenge that we haven't heard of before, or we have a solution for it. By having our systems, and by also staying pretty educated on what's going on, staying in coaching, staying updated on the market, by knowing what newer agents need, by what mid-tier, by doing like 5 to 10 deals a year, what those agents need, what top producing agents need that are doing 100 deals as solo people, and then what the mega teams need. By keeping ourselves on all aspects of it, we're very rarely blindsided by having the plan of what do they need. We're never really hit with a challenge or something that we can't find a solution for, or help them get to the next level of their business by having those systems.
Yeah. So if I think, we work with a ton of loan professionals and real estate professionals. So I think of the user experience at a whole. Pre-escrow, you're nurturing, you're staying top of mind. They have a need, they enter escrow. They have a whole line of communication, but you have a plan for pre-nurture, marketing, whatever you want to call it, pre-escrow, pre-transaction. They're just people, they're homies, you're checking in, you're spending time, you're doing events, you're doing emails, you're educating, and then they come into escrow. They should have the same feel. They should have the same experience of consistent communication, availability, and you can appear available and not necessarily be available through constant communication and patterns, right? They come to expect the same. And guess what? When they refer you to their sister or their mom or the person from church or whatever, they know they can describe the experience that they're going to have. And then post-close, right? They're going to have they're going to enter them back into the stable of past clients, referral partners, and then they're going to have a different, consistent, patterned, planned experience. So what is the user experience for each pre-escrow, during transaction, after escrow, and what is your plan for each of those 3 parts of the world for your customers, right?
Well, and so that's great, having all those plans, having all those systems on each part of the transaction, especially after. But Ryan, if I was a solo realtor, entrepreneur, business owner, how would I be able to handle all of those systems myself?
Well, I mean,
you probably can't, right? Like, it's pretty hard.
Well, and they can be simple. They don't have to be a 37 bullet point marketing strategy followed by a 47 bullet point with subsections A, B, and C of how to follow up the client during escrow, and then post close. We'll talk about that later. No, it can be like spreadsheet of what's going on. I got 7 deals going on, and I make sure to check the box. It can be very simple, and then you can build it from there, because you have to start with a basic foundation of what you'll do. It could be putting 3 hours on a Monday to make sure you talk to every person you have something going on. Like, dumb it down, but have a system. As rudimentary as it is, anybody can have a system, like a basic thing that's a repeatable protocol of activities. That's a system, right? And then you can scale it up from there. Well,
I was kind of thinking of the aspect of, like, we have all these different systems, but a lot of those we can delegate out, and having those clear roles of like handling the paperwork, handling that kind of stuff. That would be TC, right? Yeah. Knowing having those standard operating procedures of, this is how the TC that I hire works, and this is how they handle all the documents. Post-closing, we've heard agents talk about having somebody on their team where all they do is handle the post-closing, where they go on their client's social media, they go digging through everything that they like, they see what they want, they go and they create a basket or an experience or a closing gift based off of what the clients like, and they have somebody that's just designated to that. And they use like videos like Lumen 5 to create, hey, when we get a new client or when we have somebody coming in, your job is to make sure they go into the CRM and to follow up boss. And this is the exact way or procedure it gets done.
Like a checklist.
So having those clear defined roles, which we kind of talked about, I think, which was last week, hiring on leverage and how to hire. So that would be, I think, would be how to really standard operating procedure, standardize, or
Standardize, yeah.
standardize. I cannot say the word
operationalize.
Having those different systems is by hiring to those systems and having that clear role of, hey, this is you are client post-closing management. This is, you handle everything from 60 days out or 30 days out, 60 days out, 90 days out. Here are the checklist. Here's the touch points that I want you to send them.
Boom.
You handle all of that.
And your CRM can do a ton of that. And a VA could help you with that. And you can do that, right? Like it could be, I call my people once a month, every month. That is a pre-transaction system, so long as you do it. I always think about like, what if like, you know, remember the Model T Ford that had the assembly line famous for, what if like the guy on the assembly line just one day said, this steering wheel is going to be pink and this one's turquoise. And no, because the product was the same, because it was a standard operating procedure. It was a system. The system will yield what the system will yield, right? But if somebody just went rogue and everything was different, then it would have not have been the success that it was, because it would not have been predictable.
Exactly.
And that's the cool thing about operationalizing your service and having patterns and systems in how you approach the transaction process, the nurture process, the post-close process, is that they're all repeatable and the same. It's like a cheeseburger in France tastes just like a cheeseburger in San Diego because it has a system for how to do a cheeseburger at McDonald's, and it tastes the same everywhere. That's how your system should be approached.
And I think that makes it it's so much easier too. Like you said, having those systems and gives you the consistent results. So when you start having that leverage of being able to hire, when you get to the scaling and being able to give them those systems, it's so much easier for them to just plug into. And it gives them, you know, so we talk about having a system for how you handle the transaction. We talk about having a system for really managing people, right? Because if you're hiring, you have to give them the system that's going to be the same thing for their job, their description every single time. Because when you start changing the description, things change. And then, like you said, you have different results. And then so having, I think 3 would be like, how do we have the clear system for communication, which goes into kind of the first one of having those different systems. But what is your clear system for communication? Like, how do you communicate? Like you said, Monday, pipeline review. Tuesday, maybe they get an email. Hey, did all your questions get answered yesterday? Is there anything I can follow up with? Wednesday, having that clear system.
I like what you said about delegation too, because you could have TC, you know, call on Tuesdays. Escrow officer calls on Thursdays and you call on Fridays or Mondays or what have you. That way, it's more than just you. You look bigger because you have the team calling, and they could, if they're active in the transaction, they should probably be checking in. And most TCs and escrow officers, I feel, could make time to call. If you have 6 escrows going, you're a busy agent, that's only 6 calls they have to make, right? I think they could do that. But you could, that in itself is a system. Or at least update
the agent every, you know, so they can know, hey, part of my system is every single Friday. Can you give me a call, update me, because I'm going to update the client. Because I don't know if legally, like, TCs can technically
No, they can't. I remember Brian Buffini put out, he used to have Monday was like escrow and then title and then loan officer and then TC, and then Friday the agent would call after they were fully updated, and the agent call would be like 3 minutes. Like, hey, did you hear from everybody? Is there anything I can answer? I just want to let you know we're here for you. The whole team's here for you. And by then they had heard from every
single person, throughout the transaction.
And they're like, actually, like I feel pretty educated. And can you have fewer people call me? Just, or email? Email's better.
Email works just fine. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So there, you know, it's all about
communication procedure.
It's like, you want to think about it as like, if you were going away for 6 weeks, could you hand somebody a book and on what to do pre-transaction, during transaction, post-transaction, and could they do it?
Yeah.
That's how you want to view the systems in your business. And like I said, it doesn't have to be super ornate or detailed or multifaceted. It just needs to be.
Yeah.
It could be phone calls and followed by emails, followed by text. In each category. That's a simple system. So, I mean, operationalizing WOW service or getting systems in order to manufacture consistently 5-star experiences for your customers, I can see that's why that's a big concern for the top producing agent, because the more moving parts you have, the more you need repeatable patterns, right? Because then you can scale.
Well, and the more it's easier too, like you said, to hand somebody the book and say, hey, this is your description, your role of exactly what you do here on the team.
Yeah.
And it just makes it so much easier, because as you start getting 20, 30 transactions going at a time, that's pretty hard to manage. So I would say you'd have to start building out those systems, and it would probably be easier to build out the systems when you have maybe 2, 3 transactions going at a time versus having those 30 transactions, and then you're like, oh shit, now I need to build out these systems.
Oh my God, I got 7 buyers, I got 3 escrows and 4 listings.
We've seen it escalate very quickly like that.
Absolutely. Well, when you do a ton of lead gen, guess what's coming? A lot of deals.
Or a ton of conversation. And then how do I manage all this follow-up? How do I manage all these conversations?
So be kind to yourself. Have beginner's mind. Be willing to fuck it up and figure it out. That's exactly what we're doing. We put these little built-in embedded videos in our open, in our close,
and we are working on it every day.
We're in the midst of this, and we're getting better little by little, like one step at a time. But guess what? We're making errors. We're learning from them, but we're doing it. And so just commit to doing it. Have one simple system, and maybe work on the buy side, how you communicate with a buyer through transaction. The sell side, how do you communicate with the seller, and then make it standard and then time block for it. And you'll love the rhythm, and you'll love that you don't have to make it up new every single time.
Every single time. We had our drips for like years before we were like, hey, we might need to update these, but that's what we learned. Done is better than perfect too. You're gonna, like you said, we're gonna fuck it up. We're gonna figure it out. It's gonna be okay. It's not gonna. Nobody's gonna get harmed from this. If anything, we're gonna get unsubscribed on our emails. That's okay.
Well, it's like, why, Ryan? Why I do really well? Why should I even change a thing? And cool, but we're just assuming wanting growth. So what got you here is not going to get you there. Yep. Right. Mm-hmm. So and not to mention, you could keep the same production. Say you did 20 deals last year and you want to just do 20 again. You don't want to change. You don't want to grow. You're good. But you could have more hours back on your plate, more hours for time to spend with loved ones, with people you care about, doing the things that you love to do, not having to grind on these transactions by having some simple systems. So I could use a couple more hours a week. How about you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think that's a pretty good conversation around operationalizing WOW service.
Yeah. And I think, just start thinking of what you already do every time anyways, and start just kind of keeping track of that, writing it down, putting it into the CRM of, I already do this anyways. And then you can start tweaking, adding more. The post check-in of how many caravans, how many ads did I do, we call it like the don't fire me report. If that's a good idea for you, hit us up, start adding that in. We can help you start to add that in. We've made them on chat. We've been able to make those.
Yeah. And for those of you, the seller, to not fire the agent because I did this, and this to promote your property. Like having
a system,
a systematic communication of what you've done to go out and sell their property. So AKA don't fire me.
So and like Ryan said, we're working on this. We're always building it out. We're always trying to learn new systems, new communication skills, new ways we can help. So if you're looking to build those systems, hit us up.
Yeah, it's very top of mind. Yeah.
Yes.
All righty. Until next time, I'm Ryan.
I'm Haley.
Bye.
Bye.